All right, here with boxing trainer Jeff Mayweather. Jeff, finally, it's official. We know that Floyd Mayweather will be fighting Robert Guerrero May 4th in Las Vegas. Are you finally? I know you get asked all the time, so are you glad to get the announcement out of the way? And what do you think of him as a dancing partner for Floyd?
Well, I mean, I think that that eventually this is what it was gonna come down to anyway. I mean, Guerrero's Mexican, so and the fight's on Cinco de Mayo. So it only makes sense to fight a Mexican fighter. Um, I think it's a situation in which Guerrero, he's riding the wave of beating Andre Berto. Andre Berto and Floyd are two different animals, totally different. I mean, Floyd's just the smartest fighter on the planet by a long ways. And so what he used to beat Berto is not going to work with Floyd. And to be honest, that's probably the only thing that he can do. And to be honest, I think that if he fights Floyd that way, I see him get knocked out within 6 or 7 rounds.
Now, he was still complimentary of him, but it's kind of the tables have been turned. In the past, Floyd's been the one doing the trash talking, but it seems in recent years he's kind of toned it down. But Guerrero's been doing his share of it for this fight. The one thing he had mentioned was that although Floyd's obviously really smart, he's slipping. He's not as fast as he used to be. His legs aren't there anymore. That just talk hyping a fight or.
Well, I mean, not talk hyping a fight. I mean, it's something you to tell yourself for you to believe that. But everyone says what they're gonna do to Floyd until they get in there and find out that it is nothing like you think. And that's gonna be the case on May 4th. I mean, once Guerrero get in there, he'll be explaining like everyone else. Oh, I didn't know he was this fast. I didn't know that he had this in his arsenal, or he was able to do this, right? That's what he'll be doing. He'll be doing just like everyone else.
Right. If Roberto Guerrero wants to pull off the upset, Roberto, I don't know, yeah, that's his brother, I guess, Robert Guerrero. If Robert Guerrero wants to pull off the upset, what does he have to do?
I don't have no strategy for him. I mean, he got to go in there and find out on his own. So,
no one offer me tips, huh?
I'm not finna give him no strategy to go in there and to try to beat my nephew. I mean, do what you do best. I mean, do what you think won the fight with Berto and see what happens.
Right. Another person that was talking some trash about him, obviously recently Floyd made the move over to Showtime from HBO. On the way out, Jim Lampley had some words for him, saying that although he's obviously a great fighter, he's picked and choose his opponents. He's never really dared to be great because he won't fight the best fighters out there. Thoughts on that?
Well, I mean,
at the same time, he also was talking about how Pacquiao did just the opposite.
Of course, I mean, how did Pacquiao do the opposite when Pacquiao fought the exact same guys Floyd fought, and most of the time he fought him after Floyd? So that makes him great, or does that make him a guy that did the exact same thing Floyd did, but Floyd did it better? Because Floyd's undefeated. So actually, Floyd knew what he was doing. And at the end of the day, what it boils down to is the fact that they lost the hottest commodity in boxing, the biggest draw in boxing, the biggest attraction in boxing. But, if they wanted him, they had first deals at him because he had a contract with them. They chose not to. So, why be mad now? Why be mad now when somebody else decided to step up, and to offer him what he actually wanted, And to be honest, I knew about this deal probably about 8 or 9 months ago, because Floyd told me, and it wasn't necessarily with Showtime at that time, but I know that he had a huge deal, in the works, and he never disclosed to me how much it was or anything like that, but he told me it was going to be something that, that's going to shock the world. And And pretty much, I think it did. And I think that now, it's one of those situations that, when he was fighting for HBO, he's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. But now all of a sudden, now you're gonna say who you picked and choose, and you never fought in your life. Who have you ever beat? Who have you? You know what I mean? You haven't challenged anyone. You a guy that don't even really know nothing about boxing, but you're just sitting there commentating about it. So at the end of the day, what you say means nothing.
Well, I'm sure that Jim Lampley and I know he's gone now, but what's his face? Larry Merchant are pretty torn up over it, huh? I'm sure Floyd's gonna miss them too.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that at the end of the day, like anything else, it's a business. And like I said, HBO had Floyd under their rise for what, about 10, 11 years, so maybe even longer. But the thing is that at the end of the day, once Showtime offered them whatever it is, they could have came back with a counter offer if they still wanted them. But they chose not to. So if they chose not to, why are you crying? Why are you having anything bad to say about this man? He didn't do nothing wrong.
And the one point Lampley did make that I think has some validity to it is that he doubts that Floyd fulfills that contract, being a 6-fight, 30-month deal. Obviously Floyd's not very active the last several years, hasn't fought a lot. Do you think there's a chance that he's going to fight 6 times in the next 30 months?
I mean, I think that with the contract that he has and the amount of money that it has, yeah, I think so. I think that, he has all the motivation in the world to fulfill that contract. So I don't think that, it's like everyone thinks that, he's not. No, I think that he has reason to be motivated, more than ever. And so, I think that he's going to fulfill the contract.
And what do you think about that card? You have Floyd and Guerrero at the top of it. You have Canelo and probably, I guess it's not totally official, Trout. And then also the prospects of Broner. I know he's an HBO guy, but Broner said he'd like to be on that card as well. Would you like to see him on that card? And overall, what do you think that night will be for boxing?
I think that'd be like boxing like the olden days when Don King would give you Chavez, Mike Tyson, Julian Jackson, Gerald McClellan. All these guys on one card on one night, and you could sit back and you could enjoy it, and each fight that you've seen was a top-notch fight, and so it would be great if Bonner can be on the card as well, but I can't conceive of HBO allowing him to be on the Showtime card. Also with the animosity toward Floyd, and they know that how much this kid admires Floyd and looked up to Floyd, so I don't see it happening.
Right. So just last question, who are the some of the prospective guys you see down the road then? 6 fights, an awful lot of names, so we can start floating them out there.
I have no idea. I really don't have no idea, and that's really not my job. That's the business of Showtime, so I'll let them handle that.
Any chance that he ever fights Sergio Martinez?
I don't know. The only person who knows that is Floyd, and maybe Showtime. But if it was up to me, no, I would never fight Martinez.
All right, Jeff, appreciate it.